Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas Tutora. Welcome to Tutora Time. In Congress today, they voted to approve a 9/11 style commission to investigate the January 6th riots. 35 Republicans voted to pass the measure. I think this is getting kind of ridiculous at this point. The FBI, law enforcement, people have already investigated and are investigating what happened on January 6th. And what happened on January 6th is also on video for everybody to see. A few hundred people broke into the Capitol. Nobody was armed. They didn't kill anybody. The Capitol wasn't covered with graffiti when they were done. Nothing was burned to the ground. The only person who was killed on the day was Ashley Babbitt, who was unarmed and shot at point blank range in the neck by a police officer.
She loved people, loved her friends, and loved her country.
The picture Anthony Maziat paints of his 35-year-old niece is in stark contrast to videos posted on social media showing Ashley Babbitt storming through a window in the U.S. Capitol before being shot dead by police.
She was a military police officer in the Air Force.
Babbitt had been deployed to Afghanistan several times, where she guarded prisons, according to her uncle.
Someone who served her country and loved it and our democracy and ultimately gave her life for it.
I wonder if the January 6th commission will investigate that and get to the bottom. We don't even know the police officer's name. But yet, when an armed felon with a long arrest record gets injured or shot by the police, we all know that cop's name instantly, and it's coast-to-coast coverage. Clearly, there are two standards of justice. The Democrats in Congress do nothing but start phony investigations. Under Donald Trump, we went through 2 years of the fake Russian collusion investigation, which showed no evidence at all of any collusion between Trump and Russia.
Special counsel Robert Mueller's report says the investigation did not find the president's campaign conspired with Russia. Mueller's investigation into potential Russian interference in the 2016 election began in May of 2017.
People who believe that theory will still say that the collusion was real and the investigation was valid, even though the few convictions that came from it were people on unrelated charges, like Paul Manafort on lobbying charges or tax charges, but nothing at all to do with the campaign. So the Democrats wasted 2 years on purpose. It was deliberately their strategy to start a fake investigation. They figured they could force Trump out of office if they just put the pressure on him, or they hoped that they could dig up something else on Trump along the way. And none of those two things happened. The point of the Russian collusion investigation was also to try to prevent Donald Trump from getting his agenda passed, which he did anyway. He did so much for the country, even though he fought the fake Russian collusion investigation and the two impeachments that were based on fake charges. One was a perfectly fine phone call that Trump made to another leader, where he mentioned that Ukraine may want to look into Hunter Biden's corruption. And at the time, people said Trump was trying to interfere with the election. But the fact is, Hunter is under investigation from the IRS and the FBI because of his dealings with the Ukraine. Of course, I wouldn't hold my breath that that investigation is going to go anywhere now that Joe Biden is running the Justice Department. Another thing that's completely disingenuous about the possible January 6th commission is it's there for a few reasons, none of which is actually to understand what went on that day. The reason they're there is to keep the narrative, the white supremacist narrative, floating in the press, so this way the Democrats could stay on the attack against the Republicans or Trump supporters. And the very sad thing is, last time the collusion investigation was after Donald Trump, a political leader. This January 6th commission will be a commission of Democrats aimed at intimidating the public from speaking their mind or voicing their political opinions, because they want to endanger people with imprisonment or fear of retaliation.
So here we are, January 6th, and now the middle of May, and we have a commission, a bipartisan commission, coming to the floor of the House. We wouldn't budge on the purpose to examine what happened on January 6th.
We've never seen anything like this before in American history, where the government itself is turned on the American people. And that's what's happening right now. I think we need to really abolish the FBI and the CIA completely, because at this point they're doing more harm than good. We'll have to figure out other ways to keep track of espionage and to protect our country from foreign powers. But right now, the CIA and the FBI have become the domestic enemy within our own country. Prosecuting, looking to go after American citizens wholesale. The reason the Democrats want the 9/11 Commission is because they want to keep the focus off the inept and incompetent and disastrous job they're doing. For years, we heard cries and complaints about children in cages at the border. But you notice, ever since the first round of border disasters since Biden's been president, the story's completely gone away. The news doesn't talk about it. It's not reported in the papers. Nobody even brings it up. So we have no idea what's going on. We do know cartels are making a fortune through human smuggling and human trafficking and drug dealing and drug smuggling. But none of it gets reported anymore because magically it's not important. The left doesn't want to talk about their disastrous energy policies that have gas prices rising and gas lines everywhere. So they need to focus on the pretend insurrection. They're not going to focus on the high unemployment. The Democrats don't want to talk about the increasing inflation. The Democrats don't want to talk about their support of Hamas and Hezbollah, terrorist groups who are looking to destroy the United States of America. So what they'll do is they'll talk about the January 6th riot. There were thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people in D.C. on January 6th, and a small handful of people broke into the Capitol. And truthfully, can you break into the Capitol? Isn't the Capitol the people's building? The police opened the doors for them and didn't stop them. If you were a conspiracy theorist, you might even say that they were set up, that they were let into the building purposely only to be arrested later. You know, when things work out so perfectly, I have a hard time believing it's all by coincidence, and life has taught me that people's motives aren't always the highest they possibly can be. So, if everything fits together to create a narrative that kind of shows you that maybe it wasn't accidental, it could have been pre-planned. When they knew protests were going to happen on January 6th, it doesn't take that much to infiltrate the group and to cause the riot to break through the doors and to instigate violence. It can be easily done. There is no more equal justice under the law in America. Certain groups get prosecuted, certain groups don't. Some groups get hailed as heroes, others get tormented as oppressors. We need to stand up for each other. We need to come together as one country. And truthfully, the first step to that is letting everybody speak out fully. Don't be afraid of what somebody says or how they say it. Let people speak. It's the only way we're going to get through this. And on the subject of Israel and the Palestinians, the world is shocked that the Jews are defending themselves because in world history they haven't been able to. People are used to just being able to cause pogroms, holocausts, and any other kind of abuse they want against Jews, and the Jews just kind of have to take it. But no more. Jews are done laying down and letting themselves be victimized by other people. You can't fire rockets into Israel and just get away with it. And I know much of the world is disappointed to hear that. So while the Democrats in Congress are standing with Hamas, are standing with Hezbollah, are trying to get nuclear weapons to Iran and nuclear technology to Iran, they're busy having an investigation into what happened on January 6th. We see what's happened on January 6th. People were arrested and investigations are being done. We don't need a public show trial investigation committee to try to keep us distracted from the disastrous job that the Democrats are doing. And that's all the January 6th Commission is about, is distracting from Democrats' disasters. And the 35 Republicans who voted to go along with it, well, it's not hard to believe there's 35 people along the lines of Mitt Romney in Congress who are just Republicans in name only. They don't really stand with the people. They stand with their corporate donors. America belongs to the citizens. We are not victims of our government. We are the government. And when the government no longer serves the people, it is the right and the duty of the people to abolish such a government. It might seem radical. but that's in our founding documents, and that's what our country is based on. And America is the last free country in the world, and if they crush freedom here, it's gone from the planet for a very, very long time, maybe forever. So we have to keep fighting back. My Roku channel, Live Free TV, has been launched. It's a platform for free speech and also cancel culture-free entertainment and political commentary. So go to Roku, download the channel, Live Free TV, and look forward to our exciting content that will be coming soon. Free speech will not die, not on our watch. And it will not be chilled, and it will not be subject to intimidation. And I don't think any American should want it to be. I'm Nicholas Tutora. I'll talk to you again soon on Tutora Time.